I know there's a lot to digest here, but kind of break down what the last couple of weeks has happened in chronological order, if you can.
I think we need to go back way further, right? Which is when the state of Pakistan was created. So before 1947, India and Pakistan were one country, ruled by the British up until 1947, and then they became two separate countries. It was essentially since 1947 that India and Pakistan, well, Pakistan's been created, and then there's been tensions. They've fought three wars already. They have had multiple skirmishes. And in many cases, the focal point or the flashpoint has been Kashmir, which is a disputed territory. So that has been one of the major points of tension between the countries. Um, Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, and essentially, there had actually been a relative lull in military tensions between India and Pakistan over the past few years. Tourism, India had made tourism in Kashmir sort of real priority. And it had been something Prime Minister Modi had really talked about publicly. And there was a militant attack in Indian administered Kashmir, which killed more than 20 tourists. And so that caused a lot of anger in India and a lot of calls for revenge. And so the question sort of became, who is responsible? And if it's Pakistan, how should India respond? Now, India is adamant that Pakistan was behind this attack. There hasn't been any public evidence that's been presented. There might be sort of historical precedent for this, but we haven't seen any public evidence. And so what we saw last week was the Indian response, and that essentially was to carry out a series of military strikes deep inside Pakistan, really the deepest since 1971, which is when they fought their last major war. And that raised tensions pretty quickly because it wasn't just a strike along the border, which has happened every couple of years. It was deep inside Pakistan. Friday night, things really escalated to a point where the US sort of had to get involved. And it was Indian strikes really in Rawalpindi, which is, next to the capital of Pakistan, Islamabad, holds some key military facilities. And when that happened, I think the United States sort of took a step back and said, "Whoa, this is getting pretty dangerous. It can lead to, potentially lots of second and third order effects." And that's when they really got involved. And by Saturday morning, President Trump tweeted there had been a ceasefire.